and we still have not seen any signs of any resignation from the government. We are only here asking for the government to abide by the Constitution. We want nothing more, nothing less. We want the government to respect the Constitution, which clearly states in Article 106.6 the government shall resign, the president and the cabinet shall resign. The minister or the director general of the ministry says, Joe Harmon says that the government will not resign, the president and cabinet will not resign. So we're saying that that is against our constitution, and we're asking that they be mature enough to accept defeat. Chosen by the people. This present government lost its mandate on the 21st of December 2018. They lost the no confidence motion, therefore they lost their mandate. And 35 weeks later, they're still holding on to power using any means possible. They used the courts, they used the Nigel Hughes jumbie mats, they did all sorts of things to try to stay into power as long as possible. We're saying that let the electorate decide which government they would like to have. Let our government do the honorable thing, abide by it. As my placard says, respect the Constitution is respect for the people. So far, this government has been totally disrespectful to the Guyanese people. They have shown little regard for what we think, and they want to control and dominate and rule without having the mandate. And we're saying that that is wrong.
Yeah, control, dominate, and rule. But what is the real reason behind this government not resigning? You have any idea?
Well, my personal view, there are two things that I think. My personal view is one, they realize that 4 years on after they've been entered into government, they really haven't done anything for the people in Guyana, and the people of Guyana are disheartened with them. Therefore, I think the government is very scared to go to the polls. They're scared that they will lose their mandate. And the second reason I think that they're holding on to power is that they're hoping that the oil money can come on board, in which they can make lives a little bit better for the public servants, to whoever else. They've already made promises in the news that in this 2020 budget that they're supposed to be planning, that there will be huge increases for public servants, for the army, for the police, for those levels of those categories of people. No, at this present time, the consolidated fund cannot absorb that. But they're waiting, hoping that the oil money comes on board so that they can make these promises and try to fulfill these promises, so they can really and truly just not buying votes to get into power. So I think they're holding on as long as possible, hoping that the oil money can come and stay. But regardless of whether the oil money comes on board or not, I'm asking that they resign and do the honorable thing and go to the polls and let the people of Guyana elect the government of their choice.
Okay, one last question. What is your message really to the people in Guyana, Guyanese people in Guyana and overseas?
My message to the Guyanese people, whether in Guyana, particularly those in Guyana, those that live abroad, in the diaspora, they don't have very much choice. But those living in Guyana, we Guyanese must learn to stand up for what is right, for what is correct, what is honorable. We must learn what our rights are. And we must not allow any government, whether this government, the previous government, the next government, to abuse us as Guyanese. We own the country, not the government. The government does not own the country. We Guyanese own it. Therefore, they are working for us, not we working for them. Government must realize that we are the owners of this country. And if all Guyanese get together, I don't care what color, race, or creed you're from, once you're Guyanese, stand up for what is correct and what is right. If our constitution says certain things, we must abide by that. If we don't like the present constitution, let us change it. But in the meantime, we must abide by it. We can't pick and choose what we want from the constitution just because we don't like one article or we don't like two articles. That's not how it works. We must either abide by the Constitution or get together and change it to something that everybody is suitable with. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, which group is this?
This group is
It is, sir. Hi, you're here second time for 2 weeks. Why you continue protesting? Tell us.
Well, because not the status quo has not changed. Our president has not resigned cabinet. He has not dissolved parliament. He has not called elections. We are going into 36 weeks beyond a no confidence motion. Whether you like the no confidence motion, how it happened, and we have to pick up the pieces. We are Guyanese. Things are at a standstill. We just cannot be slothful and hope something happens. We are standing out here to say, we are asking our president, you say you're a man of integrity, but behave as such. That's what we're saying.
And we are asking the present situation, the Guyanese people here living in Guyana abroad. What is your message really to these people? What is really your message?
My
They
message,
probably wanted to join you in some form or way. How can you?
well, to my diaspora friends in civil society who do not belong to parties but are patriotic and want their country to rise, you can take a placard. Go on your Facebook page, on your Instagram, on Twitter, and Snapchat, and hold a placard in support of us and get your message across. If there's enough groundswell, our president and our government will have to listen to us. They have to listen to us because we cannot continue this way. I mean, I'll go further to say that we have a new master and knocking on our doors. The other companies are here. The Trinidadians are here. And we are just sitting back and no legislation is being passed. Nothing can be done. And our wealth is being stolen from under our feet because of the, I don't know what you would call Mr. Granger, what Mr. Granger is doing. He has to stop it. So let's get cracking, man. Resign cabinet, dissolve parliament, call elections. That has to be done ASAP. No doubt.
Say a few words. No? Yeah, we interviewed her last time. Okay, you're here for the second week.
Yes.
Can you tell us what's improvement, any improvement in the last 6 days?
No, you're the media, so you know, same with me. Nothing has changed since the last time to now. But I'm still hoping that we will get a change. Of course, I'm calling on all youth, civil society, other organizations to come out and support this cause.
But some young people might not understand the constitution and the reason why you're here. Can you explain it a little bit more?
Well, the arms of the government get their power from the Constitution, and they must respect the Constitution. The Constitution has asked that they resign and call an election, and considering that their powers are vested in the Constitution, it's only right that they abide by the Constitution and call an election.
I've been held like 3 months ago, 24th of March. We still don't have a date for elections. The president needs to issue a proclamation, dissolve the parliament, set an election date. And that's not only a demand that should come from political actors, this is a demand that should come from every decent, respectful Guyanese citizen who believes that our constitution should be upheld.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Can you tell us your name and what your organization represents?
Robin Singh, I am a member of no organization at this point in time. I have been involved in Youth Movement Guyana, but I've passed the age of youth now. So I participate in civil society by writing and commenting on what's wrong, what's right, presenting solutions. We obviously know that we are in a crisis, a constitutional crisis. It is caused by a lack of leadership, and I don't think it can be the brigadier's fault. Maybe he's waiting for a chief of staff to tell him what to do. Not everyone can make decisions for themselves, and if we elect people who don't know how to lead, we can't expect leadership. And that's what you need. You need people who know how to lead, who can make decisions. And
Can you tell us, give us a message, give the regular person, right, Guyanese, what's really happening here in Guyana, and people overseas don't really understand fully from a normal perspective.
It's this. We have a constitution that's supposed to be our laws, that this is how we run. If we pretend not to understand it, then what do we have? We don't have parliamentary oversight. Parliament has met 3 days to the year. We're 280 days into the year. It met 3 days. So we can't ask questions about how money is being spent. We can't ask for accountability for any of the money that's being spent. And we're talking $300 billion, the largest budget in Guyana. There's no oversight. Something wrong. Something is definitely wrong. And then you're talking about rating the lotto funds for more money when you run out. It can't work so. A country should not be run. This is not the first no confidence motion. It's the first one that passed. The one before, we all knew what the consequences would be. The brigadier knew very well what the consequences were then. The consequences did not change because he is in government. He is not above the law or the Constitution. He is directed by the Constitution. He's now heading an illegal government, and he thinks he can operate with impunity. He can't. There is a restriction. The money will run out, and he will come to elections. And most likely, because of his behavior, he has lost support. If you don't lead, you can't expect people to elect you as a leader.
Thank you, It is a reliable spokesman, 747. Can you tell us why you're here joining this group here today?
You're aware that apart from me being a parliamentarian, I'm also a church leader. Today I don't stand here with the movement, the mass movement against for this protest as a member of parliament. I stand here in my capacity as a religious leader, as a concerned Guyanese, and as a citizen. I believe that the cause is just, and because the cause is just, my presence is important. I've said a little earlier, the evil that stalk our land today is not just merely because of evil men. It is because of the silence of good men. We have a government that has blatantly disrespected the Constitution. We have a government that has done harm to our economy. We have a government that has disrespected the people of this country. And we have people in this country who have been satisfied just to be silent because they don't want to be seen as being political. They prefer to speak in whispers or in their temples or masjids or churches. But I believe the time has come when the righteous people of Guyana, the peace-loving people of Guyana, the people who regard our Constitution as sacrosanct, should divorce themselves from racism and pettiness and take a principled stand and a principled position. So I'm standing here today and I'm calling out the voices that used to be loud in a gone-by era against what they deemed as unrighteousness. Those who criticize the then government for all their wrongdoings, why are they silent now? Standing with this group is a message to ensure that the silence must be broken and that people must stand their ground. I applaud them, and that is why I'm here standing with them today.
Thank you very much.
Guyanese need to take to their Facebook page, write letters to the editor, get on social media and whatever platform they're in and express their concerns, because we have a tone-deaf administration. They are tone-deaf, and they need to see and hear the voices of the people, because the power of the people is always greater than the people in power. The power of the people is always greater than the people in power.
Thank you very much. That's good. Increase the number.